Thursday. Yes, it is Thursday, the third day of August. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. Yep, we got the Auras in, the triplets. We got Paul Richards. We got Richard Ragabarase. We got Ruben. My name is Steve Khan. We'll keep you company until 9 o'clock this morning. All right, let's get straight into the WTs, see what's happening weather-wise and traffic-wise. Yesterday, for those that, I don't know, in Central and South, you all had a rough time. That accident by Chase Village yesterday, a truck by Caroni, you guys had a lot of traffic. Hope nothing like that today. As I can see, there's nothing going on. East, west, and north and south, highways and byways, absolutely clear. Unlike yesterday. That's a traffic update. Let's see what's happening weather-wise. It is 25 degrees on both Trinidad and Tobago, Piarco, and Crown Point, and the Met Office is saying sunshine will be likely interrupted by intervals of showers over a few areas, especially during the afternoon. There's a medium 40 to 60% chance of isolated thunderstorm activity favoring the western half of Trinidad. This evening, generally fair. All right. Maximum forecast temperature for today at Piarco will be 33. That's what's predicted. And 32 in Crown Point in Tobago. And I'll let you know that Martinique yesterday, they got a real high one. They were 38.7 degrees, a record for Martinique, 38.7 degrees. All right, checking some temps across our listenership. And we start out in Toronto. You're 19 degrees and clear as you head up towards Caribana this weekend. 26 and partly cloudy in Miami. Orlando, 24 and clear. New York, partly cloudy and 19. Atlanta, mostly cloudy and 23. London, partly cloudy and 19. Tampa, 25. Washington, D.C., 19 and mostly cloudy. All right. And of course, before I throw it across to Paul, let's see who sent us hellos via our mobile app and website, and of course on YouTube. First off the gate this morning, we've got Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida. Good morning to you, Ray. Have a great one. Maria Marva, DJ Ray out in Delaware. He says, very cool morning. All right, in Delaware. Got Celia out in Valencia. Good morning to you. CG out in New York. Have a fantastic day yourself. On YouTube, first off the gate there, Marcia Rock, good morning. Alistair Hart, Ms. Maloney Dudu, good morning. Wendy and James out in Aranguez, good morning to you as well. All right, good morning to you, Paul Richards. What's happening, my friend? You're muted.
Morning, Steve. Morning, everyone.
Morning, Paul. How you going?
I'm good. How are you going? How is everybody? How are you, I should say?
A little tired, but not too bad. I need some rest, boy. I need to.
But you rested for 4 days. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
That was not rest. That was the complete opposite of rest. Complete opposite. I need rest where I get to sit down and do nothing. And it's probably
well, you are the pet butler, so how do you expect to rest?
Yeah. You know, if you had to catch your hee-haw, might as well do it for yourself.
You call yourself the pet butler, so you have to take care of the pets.
That's right. You know me, I love my pets. I wish all pets all stray animals had a home. I really do.
Well, I wish all human beings had a home.
Well, that as well. Anyway, lots happening.
Yeah, a lot happening. A lot of responses continue to come following Mrs. Prasad Bissessa's light them up, reload, empty the clip commentary. A lot of responses coming from that. Gary Griffith, we called in the newsroom. We played that in a short while, that clip. We also had a response from the Minister of National Security. We now have a response from the Prime Minister, from political analyst Derek Ramsamouj. Darius Figueroa also had a comment, I think. A lot of people commenting on this. Most people, well, let me say many saying that the leader of the opposition's comments were irresponsible and reckless. Some in support, like Gary Griffith, who I could play in a short while. We called him yesterday and got a comment from him. Prime Minister saying that Mrs. Prasad Bisessa's comments are reckless and irresponsible and fueling or stroking anger, and the promise for guns for all is not the answer to the crime situation. And I agree, and I don't think the comments are productive comments in this environment at all. But the other side of it, as we discussed,
kind with your words.
Sorry?
You're being kind with your words, unproductive.
Well, I also think they're irresponsible, right? For somebody who is a former prime minister and who was head of the National Security Council at one point for 5 years, I think those are not responsible comments, irresponsible comments.
I agree with you totally.
And I think that Mrs. Prasad Bisessa, she is aspiring to be prime minister again. And if she were prime minister, would she make those statements as a prime minister? That's what you have to think about, because she is the leader of the opposition and she is vying in 2 years again, from all we can see, to be prime minister again. You know, and I don't know that light them up, reload and empty the clip and reload is the way to go. I don't know. But on the other hand, as I said yesterday, I understand why we got so many calls yesterday in support of the comment, because it was, I think, 1811 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And we get the final call later on this morning. But I understand why so many people also called and said they support the comment, because people are scared and they don't believe the police are doing their job. Interestingly enough, the police put a statement yesterday. No sign of the commissioner of police, like she done talk to the media, that there were arrests, and in terms of the Anti-Gang Act, 10 men have been charged with offenses under the Anti-Gang Act following a string of house break-ins and robberies, and they face charges including robbery with aggravation, housebreaking, larceny, possession of a stolen vehicle, possession of ammunition, which is great. And of course, the TTPS release went on to say the TTPS attributed the arrest and successful strategies implemented by Commissioner Earl Christopher Haywood, etc., etc. So it's more PR piece. But I mean, they have to talk about the good when they have successes, or so I have no problem with that. I just find that I don't accept that a commissioner should be this absent from interrogation by the media. And if Mrs. Haywood Christopher thinks that's the way to go, well, I guess we see how it goes for her, you know, into the future. But running from the media and hiding from the media, to me, is, because she clearly doesn't want to face the media. Clearly. You know, I just pull up the rest of the release. It went on to say there had been 110 arrests for home invasions in the past 8 months. And the TTPS is urging FUL holders to comply with the law, I guess in response to that statement by Mrs. Prasad Bisessa, which they have to kind of come to them. You know, so we see how it goes. But I don't think that light them up, reload the clip and empty the clip the kinds of statements that somebody in Mrs. Prasad Bisessa's position should be making. But she's getting some level of support, and some, you know, because people are afraid. I mean,
she will get some support. Because
people are frightened and afraid, Steve, and they don't have confidence in the police, despite the police releases and the gains the police have indicated they've made. When you're there and you make a call to the police, if somebody's on your front door, and they either tell you that they don't have a car, we come and just now never turn up, or turn up in 2 hours, I understand that it's an immediate situation.
Yeah. I mean,
and you're afraid because your wife and your daughter and your son in the house.
Yeah.
And you have no way to protect yourself.
But Paul,
let me ask a question. Let me ask a question. Right? What happens to those who do have FULs?
Exactly, which is majority of the population.
What happens to people who don't have firearm users licenses and firearms and legally obtained firearms? What happens to them?
Mm-hmm.
What is the response that they're supposed to offer? Take a back a class?
Bring a stone from outside, keep it on
Take a big stone? The process to get pepper spray is so difficult and all. After all the hullabaloo.
You have to get a license for pepper spray.
You have to jump through hoops, And so I understand the support in some quarters for her comments, but the comments only deal, because she was clear to say, fuel users. That's what Mrs. Pasabi was referencing, which is not the majority of us. She did say if she gets back into government, she will make FULs. The policy will be to make FULs more available to members of the public. But I don't know that granting guns to, let's say, 500 or 5,000 more people is the answer.
But I don't think she has the authority to grant FULs. That
she never said she is going to grant the FUL. She said that her government is going to initiate a policy to make FULs more available. There's a big difference in that. Mm. So I hear people say, well, she don't have no authority. She never said she's going to grant the FULs. She said a government led by her will have a policy to make FULs more available, because it will certainly, I guess, from the cabinet, if she's in power, come down from the Minister of National Security and then to whoever the Commissioner of Police as a bit of policy advice. You understand?
Yeah.
Just like this government has a policy on FULs that they pull back the number of FULs since Mr. Griffith is no longer commissioner as a policy decision. I think that's what she was saying. So people need to stop conflicting the two. She never said that. Okay?
I used to, before I come to work, put the garbage out. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, I would go and put the garbage out, because the truck is coming shortly. I don't do that anymore.
You don't. You can't.
I don't do that. I do it in the night around 8 o'clock. And even when I'm doing that, I come out, I look left, right. If anybody passes by me, I do not stay in the road. Even if for a minute, I will tell them to drive in.
Let me put it this way. I have 5 cameras around my yard. And 2 down the streets with very good telescopic vision.
Imagine
that are on record all the time.
Imagine that.
And I know many people do have the same system.
A lot of people have that.
Okay? Because I want the people to stay inside and see down the road and around the house.
Yes.
Without going outside. But not everyone can do that.
No.
And then when you see somebody outside, or in some cases, as people have rightly said, when there's a group of 6 men surround your house, what do you do? Let's just say you have one FUL for one gun, or even 3, where you don't give your son a gun, give your wife a gun, and open the door and open fire. Is that the response? I don't know. The proper response is to get the damn police service operating properly and effectively. And this thing about no car and we come in just now and you don't turn up and they don't have a specific objective of a response time, as you see in other jurisdictions who have gone from 30 minutes to 10 minutes to 5 minutes, and they measure their response time, the average response time, to show that they're improving, which is not the case here, because depending on what division you call, you mightn't get a car at all, you mightn't get a response at all, or they will say we have no car, so you're on your own.
We have been hearing we have no car for decades.
So
even when Richard was a child, we don't have a car.
I don't know. And as I said, there's some support for Mrs. Pasabi's statements, and she's also received widespread condemnation for it. So I understand the split mindset to the statement, but the underlying issue with the statement is crime out of control. and the population that does not have the level of confidence they should have in the police service for many different reasons. And a hiding commissioner don't help either. And sending press releases, that don't help. Anyway, Gary Griffith is one person who is supporting Mrs. Spessard-Bicessa's statement. So let's take a look at what he had to tell our newsrooms of Will St. Hill Barber yesterday.
Will interpret something in one direction to benefit them, others will do in another direction. And I'll give you a quick example. When I spoke about one shot, one kill, certain persons were offended, but that was fact. As much as it is unfortunate, it is fact. If you have a firearm and somebody is approaching you, you do not try to shoot the person in their leg or their arm. You go for head or chest to neutralize the person. So one shot, one kill is what every single firearm holder will have to ensure that you neutralize the person. Because if you shoot them in such a manner that they can still continue to fire at you, then you can be killed. In the situation with Kamala Persad-Bicessa, I would believe that what she's speaking about is if several persons break into your home and they're all coming up in an aggressive manner, you can't just fire one shot. You have to use as much ammunition as possible to neutralize all of the individuals that will be approaching you. So if you have 7 persons coming up the stairs, you can't just fire at 6 persons. The 7th one will kill you. So what I believe that she was alluding to is that there's a home invasion and several persons are invading your home. Then what you need to do is to use as much ammunition as possible to neutralize each person. It does not mean that you have to use excessive force, because as soon as the individual has been neutralized, as soon as the threat has been neutralized, you cannot use extra force, because now you have neutralized the person. So that's where the minimum use of force comes in. So I think that is what she was alluding to. I think the more important concern goes back to the point of the present laws that favor the criminal elements rather than law-abiding citizens. The lady who actually used her husband's firearm to defend herself, why is it now that that firearm must be taken and they may not get it back for several years, which puts their life at risk, because the individuals who may be associates of the person who was killed can now target these same individuals in the home. Likewise, why should she be charged for manslaughter and now be seen as a criminal when all that she was doing was protecting her home? Which is why we need to amend the law. It does not have to be, we are not speaking about the law by the letter of the law of Samuel Brown, similar to the Zimmerman situation. So when she probably speaks about we want to amend laws to ensure that if somebody football goes into your yard, you can shoot them or steal a mango, that is not what it is that we are saying. That is a lie. We are speaking about making sure that law-abiding citizens have the right to defend themselves if the state is unable to defend them, which is what I intend to do when we get back in government, and also to ensure that the minimum use of force can be used to protect the law-abiding citizens from criminal elements. And it must not be seen in any way that it is something that is going to be used to abuse the citizens when they have firearms to protect themselves.
So
is it that you're interested, Gary, in amending the?
No, it's not live, Richard.
Oh, I thought it was,
It's live. It's not live. It's something I really interviewed him yesterday in the newsroom. It was
you know what I would be interested to hear, because it's an issue, that issue of that self-defense, whether he would have thought that particular part of the law needed to be amended, not necessarily to meet the level of the stand your ground in the United States. Well, in some states in the United States, not all states have it, but whether he would be minded that the law itself about excessive force, that excessive force part of it be amended to lower the bar.
So that the person is more protected in the use of
that particular part of it.
Yeah.
Whether that would have been something.
Yeah. Morning, Ragabasi.
Yeah, morning, guys.
We also spoke to Fitzgerald Hines, the Minister of National Security, yesterday with Avril. She did a lot of work yesterday. Good work, Avril. And this is what he had to say on the issue.
Sounded, though not surprised at the behavior of the leader of the opposition. A former commissioner of police said that the approach should be one shot, one kill. I have noticed that since her very recent unprincipled association with that commissioner purely to achieve political ends, where she abandoned the yellow and has now taken on a blue and yellow in a most unprincipled and shameless way, the leader of the opposition is now calling on citizens who hold licensed firearms to light up and empty a clip, promoting a level of wantonness and violence in a most populist way. Anything that sounds attractive to Kamala Prasad Bissessa, she's to blurt it out to try to get that extra vote. But you know, that comes behind her call for stand your ground law, which has been rejected as unnecessary. We have a long history of laws in this country that have worked to protect people who have been intruded upon by criminals. I know at least cases, but there was a recent case where three criminals went into a man's bedroom in Cuba in a home invasion one morning, early morning, maybe about 2 a.m. And the man using his licensed firearm shot and killed one of them in his bedroom. And the laws of Trinidad and Tobago were enough to have regarded that as self-defense, using as much force as is necessary, and the man suffered no criminal sanction.
Right. That's part of the interview with Fitzgerald Hines. St. Hilbab did yesterday. So there are laws, but I mean, I guess there's some ambiguity in people's minds as to what is reasonable force and what would constitute reasonable force in the context of a statement like light them up, reload, and empty the clip. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I'm not a lawyer. You are an attorney. I don't know if you practice criminal law, but it'll be interesting. I saw Larry Lala. It'll be good to get him on later on this morning, senior counsel, asking for more clarity on reasonableness in terms of the use of force and the use of firearms in protecting one's self and family. And again, it all comes back.
Was that Larry?
Is it Om? It's Om. Oh, okay. My apology. And it all comes back to people feeling that law enforcement is not adequately responding to the criminal scourge in the country. That is what it comes back to. And deciding that they are better off, in some instances, managing their safety themselves.
Well, that's why you have different communities now who have WhatsApp groups.
Mm-hmm. And
to deal with safety and air horns and all those sorts of things.
Yeah, and all those are great mechanisms. But then when the criminal on your front step and you see 6 men around your yard, there's a different level of panic that sets in at that point, you know.
Yeah.
When you have your wife and your daughter and your son in your house, and your security system, or you look through the window and you see 3, 4 men, 5 men around your yard. I mean, and you're calling the police and they're saying they're on their way or we don't have a car. It's a different level of panic sets in at that point, because you don't know if they're going to get in the house. You don't know what they're going to do to you. And as I said earlier before you came on, not everyone has an FUL. So what are they supposed to do?
Yep.
What are those people supposed to do?
You're right. It's ultimately a failure of the security services, the security infrastructure, to ensure that citizens are safe or feel psychologically safe.
Yeah.
Or psychologically safe. And obviously a lot of the citizens don't.
Or feel that if you call the police, they are going to be in your doorstep in no time to protect you and intervene.
But we talk
and
about
that is not a widespread belief in this country, I'll tell you that.
No, and not only that, but the issue of, do they still have vehicles? Those things still crop up. You still hear people saying they call a police station and the police station has no vehicles. And you have the issue of,
and we're spending $8 and $9 billion a year national security every year. It's either first or second in budgetary allocations every year.
And the one-door policy which to date, which has been around for
That's a joke.
couple of decades
That's a
almost.
joke. That's a policy
And-
statement. That is not a practice.
And yeah, and it's not practiced by police officers across the country in a consistent way.
Yeah,
because-
no, this is not what you say. You had to go back for that. Or you had to go Rima for that.
And they deflect. And
Yeah.
citizens are confused because they think you can go anywhere. And so a lot of those little things add up
Yeah.
in terms of your overall picture of how the security services work for you as a citizen and make you feel safe as a citizen. All of those little things, all of those deficiencies
Well,
add up in
maybe
people's minds.
I'm reading a story wrong, but I saw a story last week where a judge, I think it was asking for the prison services to protect somebody named Fishy, and Fishy was subsequently killed behind prison doors. Am I wrong? Did I read that story wrong?
No, I can't. I don't know the story, but so I can't
So,
see.
I mean, so I'm going to suggest the question this morning be, if you could acquire an FUL, would you option that?
Would you?
Yeah. If you could get a firearm user's license and a legally obtained firearm, would you?
Yeah,
Because not everyone has one, you know.
No, and not everybody's interested in having one.
Well, I don't know. That number may increase given what we're seeing in the country. I don't know if everyone would qualify for one.
No, but I'm not even sure that everybody's interested in having. For example, I'm not interested in having an FUL.
Neither am I, quite frankly.
But-
Neither am I.
But yeah, it's a valid question that some people may want.
If you could get a firearm, an FUL, would you say yes? Would you option it?
Would you option it?
Yeah.
I see. Dwayne Gibbs is also speaking. Well, I can't say he's speaking without being asked. He was interviewed with regard to the issues of what.
But he might as well do something for the pension money we give him.
To the crime situation. And I mean, what he did say, if I'm reading one of the articles this morning, the former police commissioner has suggested that an overhaul of the TTPS, as well as the country's justice system, is now needed in response to worrying gun crimes. And this is a quotation. Both the police and justice system require a complete overhaul and change. Doing the same things over and over, simply tweaking systems and programs will not achieve any actual altruistic improvements in Trinidad and Tobago, cautioned Canadian Dwayne Gibbs. Gibbs, who recently spoke to the newspaper interview he recently spoke with the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian in an interview, and he spoke against the plan by the Keith Rowley administration to set up a new vetted unit within the TTPS, which he believes will foster corruption, is now advocating for greater use of available intelligence systems to combat gun trafficking and to better secure the country's borders. He pointed out that most of the illegal weapons entering TNT were coming from countries such as Venezuela and the United States on go-fast boats. Drug traffickers and crime gangs benefit greatly financially through the black market, selling of weapons, and the use of weapons to support their crime activities. So that's some of what he says. I mean, there's more, but it's just a sense of what he is saying. They also spoke to Luke Hadid. Yeah, who was saying that you know the issue of crime is a business, and you have to treat it as that. And how do you take out
crime is a business. They're not doing crime because they're just in a crime spree. They're doing it for financial gain in most cases, whether it be robbery or extortion or hold up or whatever, you understand? Or kidnapping. Thank God we haven't had one of those in a while. You know? So I don't know. So the question this morning will be, if you could option an FUL and a licensed firearm, would you? Let's roll on into the other thing this morning, of course, that's making a lot of news, interestingly enough, is the Prime Minister's watch. So a red watch, I guess, was seen in the Prime Minister's hand at a recent conversation. And some are suggesting the watch costs 1.4 million TT, And the Prime Minister's put out a statement that the watch costs $399 US. So
Yes, that's the average price, right?
over our red watch.
We are not necessary.
With bloggers doing thing and the people starving and the Prime Minister we had a $1.4 million watch. The watch costs under $399 US.
$399. I checked it on Amazon.
Gosh, the watch costs.
Now, if the Prime Minister is financially equipped and wanted,
and even if he was wearing a $1.4 million watch and he could buy it under legal means, what is the deal?
Exactly, that's his business. Because watches can go up in all manner of prices.
Oh, trust me, I know.
In fact,
you ever see cost from a Patek?
Yeah, some of them are super
that you had to order, that you had to be on the list for 10 years to get? All right. A big hullabaloo about the Prime Minister watch. As if they have nothing against it. A watch? Look, they ease me up, eh? A watch? Man, have a watch in your hand, or you're going to say the watch costs 1.4. As you're right, Richard. Even if the watch costs that, once you didn't steal it or obtain it by corrupt means, I don't know. It's like, but it is silly season, so yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you have papers?
Yes, I do actually.
What?
Is your hairline growing back? That hair implanting working, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Who's that?
You hairline, that hair implanting growing back, like a closing up.
What was that, Nyla? He's getting bald? Yes, I Nyla, we know.
No, the hair growing back one.
That's one problem I do not have. I may choose to keep my hair low. So the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for today. Kamla under fire. That's the main headline. And just in case you didn't know, today is Thursday, August 3rd. And tomorrow will be Friday, August 4th. And Saturday will be August 5th and Sunday, August 6th. And there's theater on August 5th and 6th at Cipriani College. What you're looking at, Miss 04, is at Cipriani College this weekend. So all of you people in East and Central should be very excited to come to Cipriani College this weekend. The box office opens from 12 noon to 6 p.m. at Cipriani College and all the outlets, which I'll tell you about later. So, Kamla under fire. Empty the whole clip. Comment causes controversy. PNM and analysts decry UNC leaders' comments. All that is on the front page. Gibbs calls for overhaul of TTPS and judiciary. Body found in mangrove. And safe arms of the law. So PC Darian Thomas embraces WPC Sherelle Thomas's baby as she looks on. Thomas escorted a pregnant Tom out of a traffic jam along the Eastern Main Road, Valencia, to the Sangre Grande General Hospital to deliver her baby. When they're doing improvements in the Sangre Grande Hospital, I think they will, I mean, it's not just not part of the story. I'm just wondering. When they rebuilding part of it or something like that, I can't remember. I think so, Anybody from Grande, let us know. You could send a message. And on the back page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian today, Calypso girls crushed again. Good God. So they fell 89-26 to South Africa. No, not to South Africa. Let me see. They don't say who they fall to. They just say it's 89-26 defeat. I think it's against Jamaica, but I'm not sure. Anyway, that's on the back page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. So they put the headline, but they don't say who they lost to. The Trinidad and Tobago Daily Express today. PM blasts opposition leaders, light them up statement, reckless Kamla. TTPS OD licensed holders can use firearms. Okay, that's an ad. I thought it was an article. Griffith confronts Rowley on golf course. Did that happen?
I don't know.
Yeah?
I think it was a statement he made. I think it was a physical confrontation.
Gary shouts at golfing PM. Former police commissioner Gary Griffith confronted Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley on the Mocha golf course on Saturday and told him to his face that he was a failure who was busy golfing 4 times a week when the country is in distress. The Express learned that Griffith threw words at the Prime Minister, who ignored him and purportedly instructed the special branch contingent to not take any action against Griffith. Griffith, however, maintains he broke no law. My goodness. Is this real? Is this true?
So what was Gary doing on the golf course? He went to see the Prime Minister.
The Express yesterday contacted both the Prime Minister and Griffith for comments on what transpired. Speaking to the Express by phone, Griffith, political leader of the NTA, related what happened and what motivated him to do what he did. He said around 10:17 a.m. on Saturday, he was driving in Mocha on his way to meet NTA candidates when he saw Rowley on the golf course. Griffith decided to pull to the side and shout at Rowley about his failed leadership. Griffith, who lives in Mocha, said he frequently sees Rowley on the golf course up to 4 times a week, and Rowley, is visible to anybody who drives along that route. I was driving, I saw him as usual, I put down my window and I simply told him, there you are again, doing nothing else but playing golf all day instead of going out there and serving the country, and that is why I see you as a failure as a Prime Minister. As Commissioner of Police, I know the law. There is no law in seeing someone and telling them they are failures.
He's right.
On the back page, missed opportunity. I wonder if they spoke to the Prime Minister. Sorry, let me look to see if they spoke to the Prime Minister.
Let me let you know the netball result. They did play Jamaica on Wednesday, 89-26. That's the netball out in South Africa.
There's no response from the Prime Minister. On the back page, missed opportunity. Hope we could have written our own history. Is that cricket? And Calypso girls face Wales for top 10 spot. That's on the front and the back of the Daily Express. Moving along to the Trinidad and Tobago Newsday for today. Senior cop on killing of intruder. Defend yourself within the law. That's the headline. And Royal Panman, Asante King, tries his hands during playing a double second pan during his visit to Desperado Steel Orchestra on Wednesday evening. So there's a picture of the king. So that's why they call it Royal Panman. PM, my watch cost US $399. And oh my God, there's a wonderful thing on the front page here. It says, what you're looking at me so for at Cipriani College, the 5th and 6th of August. All of that is on the front page. It's front page news. Oh my goodness.
You're a real actor, boy.
And no, there it is. Look. See, Steve? There it is.
Where it is? Hey, the front page, boy.
Well, it thought I was lying. And on the back page of the news, on the back page, Kajo facility fiasco leads to Commonwealth Games Federation concerns. Lessons for Tobago and West Indies and India begin T20 series in Taruba. And that's it for the front and back page of the daily newspapers in TNT today.
Right. If Steve would wake up.
I'm trying to get the website and app is down. So we can do a poll, but you can read messages via telephone and YouTube.
So, would you care to give the results, or is that dependent on the website?
I can get into it now.
All right, so let's go into the poll for today. Based on our discussions this morning and the present hullabaloo about Mrs. Pasabi-Sessa's statements about FUL users lighting them up and reloading, if you had the opportunity to obtain an FUL and legal firearm, would you accept? Yes or no? If you had the opportunity to obtain an FUL and FUL,
Yeah, would you apply?
FUL,
Would you do it?
not apply, to obtain.
Because everybody can apply.
Anybody can apply. You can apply. That don't mean you'll obtain it. If you had the opportunity to obtain an FUL and a legal firearm, would you accept? Yes or no?
All right.
That's our poll this morning. Of course, we can only take votes via YouTube and via telephone, as the app is being a little temperamental this morning.
Yeah,
So
they're working on it though.
So 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans toll free at 866-525-1099. You can see the numbers and the ticker tape underneath there. Rest of the world, 1-868-222-TALK. And of course, you can send your comments on the YouTube as to what your votes.
Yeah. All right.
Well, they're very upset with our choice of t-shirts this morning.
What's that?
Wendell is
in blue.
You know, he's upset when he see blue these days.
Until he buys.
So our question this morning: if you had the opportunity to obtain an FUL and a legal firearm, could it two different things? The license is one thing, but the firearm is something else. Would you accept? Yes or no?
I'm seeing some votes coming in on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, let me say good morning to Randy Kelly, Slick Money Grip, Brenda Isaac, Ingrid Adams, Royal Passad. Good morning to you. Cat Consulting Services. All right. Good morning to you. Sabita, Rena Booty Jennings, Wendy Ann, Mo Gaines. Good morning. Marcia Rock, Jaron Joseph, Leela Satwa. Leela says yes. H.S. Wilson, definitely yes. Wendy Ann James, no. Carol Guevara, yes to the poll. Kenny and Harlem, I say yes to the poll. Randy Kelly says yes. Slick Money Grip says no. What says you, caller?
Good morning, gentlemen. Sandy Grandy, yes.
All right, Grandy, thank you. Have a great day. All the best. You be safe. All right, 222-8255. North Americans, toll free. 866-525-1099. Of course, on YouTube, you can message us.
Or Facebook.
We're feverishly working on getting our app and website up and
or
running.
Facebook or LinkedIn.
All right, yep. Or Facebook or LinkedIn.
I've been offered several times, and I'm not of the temperament to have a licensed firearm. I'd have the right temperament for that.
I gotta tell you that.
Well, I know myself, so I know the person I am. It wouldn't end well.
Oh, jeez. All right.
Good
morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, darling.
Yeah, we wrote that already.
And my love.
Love is back in the air.
Head. You know why you say no?
Why?
You are the best gun already.
Yeah.
Oh,
a Magnum.
That's right. Tell them.
A Magnum.
That's right. Tell them.
I don't know about you too, you know. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Drew. Good morning, guys. My
Morning.
answer is yes.
Thank you, Ms. Maloney.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
If you had the opportunity to obtain an FUL, a firearm user's license, and a legal firearm, would you accept?
Vaughn Drayton says yes. Trinidad First says yes. Ray Rodriguez says yes.
Steve, would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it goes beyond. If you are talking about me, it goes beyond me. I need to protect my family and property.
You have a business too that's open to the public.
So you know,
I guess you're even more vulnerable.
To me, it is one is having it, two is using it.
Well,
So,
if you have it and you are confronted by threatening situations, you may just have to decide to use it. That's why you get it.
Mhm.
You get it to protect yourself in circumstances where you feel that you have no choice. I hope you understand.
yeah,
But you have to respond that way to protect yourself and your family. So
yeah. As a
that's
caller
that's
said
my note.
yesterday, which I thought about, is that when you pull it out, it is to use it, not to wave it in the air like like you just don't care.
Well, sometimes it's pulling it out may just run frighten the person away.
Yeah,
So I guess it may be preemptive and people may say you have it and they run off because you're having to fire it. But then there's
yeah,
some circumstances where you feel so threatened you will have to pull that trigger.
yeah.
And
Then you have to deal with the TDPS
you
after that.
have to do the psychometric test. You have to do the training. If you pass the psychometric test, you
Yeah.
have to do the significant amount of training, and you have to train, I think, every year, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's part of the protocol. I can't.
I think they give you I forget what they call it. I can't remember what Gary. They give you a learner's permit.
You have a provisional permit first, then you have to go on the range and do a certain number of hours of practice.
Yeah,
and be able to use to understand the weapon and stuff like that.
For what I recall, they give you the provisional, and then the instructor now has to evaluate you, and that now, which you have to pay for, which also has to be handed back into the TDPS.
But a gun is not a cheap thing either. So
no, well, not here.
If you had your question this morning, if you had the opportunity to obtain an FUL and a legal firearm, would you accept? Yes or no? 222-TALK, 222-8255.
Yeah, Mogain
128255
says yes. Oliver Man Warren, as a small business owner, I'm in your class, my friend. Yes, I will. Scorpion Pepper, you disappeared for a while. Morning, yes, I want ones I can receive necessary. Yes, okay. Yeah. Thank you, Mogain. It's true. Let's grab his call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Definitely open arms.
With open arms, lying beside you. Sorry. Just belt out a song that came to my head. All right. So call us. You can only message us on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And you can call us at 222-8255. North Americans, you can do the same. 866-525-1099. I'm gonna message here. The PM watch ain't quarter the value of Watson Duke watches. Sexy San Fernando says yes to the poll. Thank you, Sexy San Fernando.
Speaking of Watson Duke, just after our 7 a.m. news, we'll have Fuel Abubakar, who's representing the PDP in one of the Port of Spain districts.
Yeah. All right. So give us a call.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that it's unfortunate that people have reached a stage where there was so much excitement, I guess, about new commissioner of police and hoping that she would make a difference. But in her mind, she's making a difference. But in the population, if you talk to 20 people out there, if they have confidence in the police service, I think 19 will tell you no, or 18 will tell you no. Maybe it's a question we can bring back around. It always comes back around. If you have confidence in the police service, you could probably ask that tomorrow or Monday.
Yeah.
See if people have improved in their confidence in the police service doing their job or no. And I always gotten to the point where people talking about reload, empty a clip, and what? Light them up, empty the clip and reload. It's generated quite a bit of conversation out there.
Oh.
With the Prime Minister
Services says the judge handling Trump's indictment today in Washington, D.C. is from Jamaica.
Okay.
Yeah. She gives a very harsh punishment, too. I was watching it last night. Had a little thing on her. All right. So give us a message via YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn. I don't know why Paul not giving us those answers. You want to check them out there, Paul? Or call us at 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. Of course, we do have news with AV, major news coming up in 5 minutes time. All right. Right. Okay. Those no popping up there. Traffic wise, I will tell leaving south towards Marbella, slow going. Rivulet Road is heavy. A little traffic by Chase Village, by Santa Rosa. Trin City towards Orange Grove Road. It's not too bad, but heavier towards UE. And getting into Port of Spain, pretty much a breeze. Unlike yesterday. All right. So let's see. Any more votes coming in? Okay. Our morning poll once again.
But you tell me you want to see the messages coming up, you know.
Oh, they removed the poll.
But
No,
they can't do. Come on.
From Facebook and so on. I can't get those.
Yeah.
The Facebook goes over to
Sharon Joseph, they're working on it.
So if you could get a FUL license and firearm, would you? Basically, that's our poll this morning.
Yep, that's our question. If you had the opportunity to obtain an FUL and legal firearm, would you accept? Yes or no?
For those of you trying to vote on the app, we are still trying to figure out, we're having some technical difficulties with the app this morning. So you'll have to vote via YouTube or Facebook or by calling in.
They had at one point given out the number of FULs presently in the country, but I forget what the number was. They'd given it out at some point. I think the Minister of National Security had given it out. And they had also given out how many they currently disburse annually, how many would disburse under Mr. Griffith as commissioner. But there's been a definite reduction since Mr. Griffith demoted the office of commissioner by, I guess, the government policy. The Minister of National Security said they were going to reduce those numbers that were being given out when Mr. Griffith was commissioner.
Yeah.
So
on the 10th of February this year, Minister of National Security said there are 34,000 FUL applications before the Commissioner of Police.
Wow. And now the Commissioner of Prisons can also grant FULs to officers who feel their lives are under threat. So 34,000 applications.
Yep. Good morning,
Good morning, Steve. Yes, I definitely will.
All right, Dinsley, thank you. Sorry, Paul, go ahead.
That gives you an indication as to how many people actually want, right? Mm-hmm. Ingrid says yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Miss Ingrid.
Rena Jennings says no. This is what Wendy Ann had to say.
Yeah, pale Gary is the best things in sluice bread. That's like sluice bread.
Or I think she tried to say pale.
Yeah, and sliced bread.
Take your time and type.
That's all.
So a question this morning: if you had the chance to obtain an FUL and legal firearm, would you accept? And to Wendy Ann, I was quite excited when Mrs. Kerwin Christopher was appointed commissioner. I haven't seen the results I'd hoped for, but I don't think she's made a year yet, so we'll see how it goes. I don't think hiding from the media is a good strategy.
No, that is not.
You know. So
they have had people that has sued to get the FUL application looked at.
And I still don't know if that report on the Brent Thomas affair went to the Minister of National Security.
Yeah.
The minister got sleepy last time we asked him. He had to go and rest. Quickly. But someone gonna ask it at some point. I always feel like
somebody is watching me,
and
I have no privacy. Gosh, I sing like this.
It's 7 o'clock.
It's 7 o'clock.
You can continue putting your votes on the YouTube and Facebook page, right? Wendy Ann is saying you don't think. I just asked you to take your time and type Wendy Ann. You don't get so hot under the collar. Woo, she typing a lot this morning. News is next.
All right, AV is in. All right, let's get into it.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar continues to be criticized for her light them up comment. Meanwhile, political analyst Derek Ramsamouche believes the opposition leader may have done her campaign harm following her recent calls for citizens to light up criminals. The TGPS reminds citizens, defend yourselves, but operate within the confines of the law. And hundreds marched through major Nigerian cities on the first day of a nationwide strike to protest the removal of a petrol subsidy. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sintel-Bab. Good morning. Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar continues to be criticized for her light them up comment, with Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley describing her comment as reckless and irresponsible. The opposition leader has urged licensed gun carriers to light up criminals who attempt to commit home invasion and to empty the clip on the intruders. In an interview with The Express, Dr. Rowley said flooding the country with weapons and telling citizens to light them up was not the answer to crime. He accused Persad-Bissessar of inciting her political base by stoking anger and promising guns for all and a crime policy that says shoot first, ask questions later. The Prime Minister added that the answer to the country's crime problem is not giving out guns and emptying the clip. Meanwhile, political analyst Derek Ramsamouche believes the opposition leader may have done her campaign harm following her recent call for citizens to light up criminals who attempt home invasions. Ramsamouche told Guardian Media that her comment is a very irresponsible statement to be made by a former prime minister. He added that as there are a lot of emotions when it comes to criminality and protecting families, careless statements like this will not augur well for the undecided voter. Police say 10 men have been charged with offenses under the Anti-Gang Act following a string of house break-ins and robberies. The men also face charges including robbery with aggravation, housebreaking, larceny, possession of a stolen vehicle, and possession of ammunition. The men all appeared in the San Fernando Magistrates Court yesterday to answer the charges, but were denied bail and remanded into custody. The TDPS attributed their arrests to successful strategies implemented by Commissioner of Police Erla Christopher and the executive of the TTPS aimed at reducing instances of home invasions, robberies, and larcenies. Meanwhile, the TTPS is reminding citizens, defend yourselves, but but operate within the confines of the law. Firearms users and license holders are being urged to follow the provisions of the law at all times as it relates to the possession and discharge of firearms. This follows a recent home invasion in Egypt, Tres Chaguanas, which resulted in the fatal shooting of a 25-year-old intruder. Deputy Commissioner of Police Kurt Simon stressed the importance of proper firearm training for self-defense situations. Speaking with reporters at the Pan American Development Foundation school supplies distribution event held at Police Administration Building in San Fernando yesterday, DCP Simon sought to clear the air on the topic of self-defense. He said what people must be aware of is that self-defense must be met with a threat against them, and an investigation will demonstrate if someone would have gone over that threshold. He said even if investigations might have led that perception to prevail, there is still a court of law that would eventually deal with that aspect. Taxi drivers plying the Ryston Road and Long Circular route in Port of Spain are concerned about a leaking sewage along 3 areas of the route. They caution their members could be forced to withhold their services because the situation is a health risk to the public. One driver told the media in an interview on Wednesday the situation has been ongoing for the past 3 weeks, adding the development is unbearable and has been going on for a while.
It's something that's happening about 3 to 4 weeks now. It's happening in 3 parts of the road on Chacon Street. Some of the drivers even complain of feeling sick and not able to work because of the condition.
Port of Spain Mayor Joel Martinez told the media in an interview the Water and Sewage Authority has been informed of the development.
I have spoken to the corporation's CEO about it. Sewer, it would be related to WASA. Last week I had to address a matter with regard to unit trusts whereby I was told about it. I informed the CEO. She said she was going to inform the city engineer to have a check and make sure that what it was so that we can officially complain to WASA about it.
You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Hundreds marched through major Nigerian cities on Wednesday on the first day of a nationwide strike to protest the removal of a petrol subsidy. They are also demanding a new minimum wage, but businesses remained open, though with reduced traffic in some places. More details in this Al Jazeera report.
It's been a while since workers in Nigeria have been on the streets to protest. But petrol prices have soared along with other costs after government scrapped fuel subsidies in May. Trade union leaders say earnings no longer keep up with inflation. They want a reversal of government policies. Similar protests were also held in the commercial capital Lagos and elsewhere. In the capital, protests were largely peaceful until demonstrators reached the Parliament building to find the gates locked.
Finally, let's get into weather news for the period today until midnight. Trinidad and Tobago sunshine will likely be interrupted by intervals of showers over a few areas, especially during the afternoon. There is a medium chance of isolated thunderstorm activity favoring the western half of Trinidad. Tonight will be generally fair despite isolated showers. Street flooding and gusty winds are possible in the event of heavy downpours and thunderstorms. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 33 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, it is 28 degrees Celsius at both localities. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissassa continues to be criticized for her light them up comment. Meanwhile, political analyst Derek Ramsamouche believes the opposition leader may have done her campaign harm following her recent comments. The TTPS reminds citizens, defend yourselves but operate within the confines of the law. And hundreds marched through major Nigerian cities on the first day of a nationwide strike to protest the removal of a petrol subsidy. I'm Avril Sindel-Bab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon today and an update coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you, Avril, for our major news. You can join her again come 8 o'clock for our news brief. On this, the third day of August. Good morning to you and welcome to the second hour of the Power Breakfast Show. Quickly, let's take a look what's happening traffic-wise as you make your way to your destination. Starting in San Fernando, I got nothing really to tell you about. Nothing. Leaving Princestown to Cedar Hill, you've got some. Gasparillo, Claxton Bay, slow going. Riverhead Road heading towards California and Point Lisas. That's a bit sticky. Chase Village area, slow going, but you're moving. Sticky from Trin City to UE. And then from there, you get a little volume by Aranguez and volume into Port of Spain. I got nothing out to the west. All right. That's a quick traffic update for you. Hope it helped you out in one way or the other. All right. Let's see if we got any more results. Let's see. Okay. Winston Jones. Steve, you'd like to see AV. Okay, maybe tomorrow I'll flip around my laptop so you can see her. I'll do that for you. Just remind me, all right? Because you know my brain, I'll forget. All right, no more votes. All right, so let's get to.
Right, so our poll this morning was if you could obtain an FUL and firearm, would you do it? Well, no, I'm seeing a vote there that I didn't have recorded. Beauty Culture.
Yeah, she voted already earlier.
No, I don't think I got her vote.
Okay, let me see.
So, anyways, so we had 22 people voting on the allotted time. Of the 22 people, 17 of you said yes. You actually not 17, 18 of you said yes. You would get a firearm if you could. 4 said no. So 18 said yes, 4 said no.
Not surprised though.
Not surprised.
Winston Jones, you had that, said no. Did you have that, Richard?
No, I didn't have that. That's new.
Winston Jones just came
in at 7-11.
Yeah. So
I will take it up to 18.5.
Yeah. I'm not surprised with the overwhelming yeses to the poll because people are really afraid and they don't have the kind of the confidence in the police service. It's as simple as that. That's why the poll is like that. I mean, people don't feel the response if they are threatened in that menacing way is going to be adequate to protect themselves. So they prefer to have some sort of, I don't know to call it backup, but some sort of mechanism where they can actually protect themselves, which is unfortunate. But we see how it goes. You know, the home invasion thing. The good news is that the police indicated through a release yesterday that made 110 arrests in the last 8 months regarding home invasions.
Yes.
Well, that's great news.
Yeah, it's good news.
It's amazing news.
That's why I mentioned it earlier on, and I mentioned it again. But I mean,
amazing news. You know, there was a story yesterday that absolutely broke my heart. There's a young lady, 60 years old, heading to work where she works at the VIP lounge of Piarco International Airport and crossing an intersection, got involved in a vehicle that was illegal on the priority bus route. The young man had a suspended driver's license, and the owner of the vehicle did not know that he took the vehicle. He attempted to run from the scene, but couldn't because he had a broken leg.
Beauty Culture said, no, I did not vote yet, Richard.
No, I looked for it. He didn't vote. Well, are you voting? Oh, you have deeply considered this poll. Okay. Yeah, so that was a sad accident yesterday morning.
And I saw the woman's son post up several videos on social media. You could tell his mother died.
He's hurt.
And he was saying, you took my mother from me, you killed my mother, you were illegal on the bus route. and you were apparently the person was inebriated. That's the impression I get from what the son said.
Yeah.
And he pointed to the place in the intersection where his mother's car was making its way across with the green light, and the car apparently broke the light and hit him and dragged the mother's car all the way down. I saw a photograph on the day where firefighters had to literally remove her body from the car with the jaws.
Sad.
And, I mean, I think she was 60 years old, if I'm not mistaken.
60 years old.
And
she's a mother, she's a grandmother.
Yeah, and just her life gone now because somebody decided to drink and operate illegally. I don't know.
Well, the priority bus route, a lot of cars use that priority bus route.
But anyway, it's just really condolences to the young man and his family. I mean,
yeah, boy.
Having mother ripped from your life in that way is really, and you could tell the pain. I mean, he's trying to process losing his mother, and in that kind of horrible way. And he's just telling the guy, you took my mother, you killed my mother because you made the decision to act illegally, and he doesn't have his mother now. So I don't know.
Poor lady going to work. It's like thousands of us doing right now.
Yeah, really, really, really tragic. Anyway, is it that Fuad is logging on?
I guess you would. I spoke to him.
Did you send an email? His email?
Yeah, and he received it.
Okay.
The young man was, as you said, he was drinking.
It's so unfortunate. All right, well, we could open the phone lines and if Fuad logs on.
Yeah, let me just send it. Yeah.
Fuad is going to put on PDP, not so?
PDP. I don't know if that means he's disbanded his own party.
Well, that's a question we will ask.
He had a party a couple of years ago. He contested.
What was it called?
Is it general or local? The result of this local government election is going to be very interesting. And as I said before, it is not the normal campaign that the parties are engaging in for a local government. It is very much akin to a general election. They are really not quite general election level, but it's certainly above what we have come to expect from local government elections. And we'll see. Big stakes for both major parties are all involved.
Yeah. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Steve.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Paul.
Good morning.
And good morning to Richard Raghubar Singh.
Good morning.
So, yesterday, oh gosh, I'm getting a lot of problems with my internet server, and I've tried all of them. So I don't know what to do next. So I didn't hear anything from you all yesterday. Oh gosh, I pity you all went digital. Anyway, my comment yesterday, I want to make this comment yesterday concerning the reload and we clip and all this sort of party show thing, right? So I always will believe, I think Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar knows full well what she's saying, and she knows for herself as a former prime minister, and she was the head of the NSC, that these things are not to be said, but of course she is beating people, and she needs to vote for her own survival. So every time I listen to any political meeting on radio now, especially the UNC, I see Persad-Bissessar struggling to survive. Her survival, it's her survival it depends on. Not so much, well, she answer the question, not so much the parties, but it's hers, because I think she's getting from bad to worse in saying things. And I don't know who writes the stories or write whatever they write, that's what they write for, if she doesn't read it beforehand. But if she reads that and see, well, these things are not to be said, that means she doesn't care. I don't know what to say about politicians anymore. They're just doing and saying what they like. And I said last week, Mr. Raghunath, I find, Paul, that he is not even listening to the broadcast to get any information, just depending on the public and political parties to bring information to him. He is the leader, he's the chairman, and he has 8 others because he says someone else resigned. Why can't all of them?
There are 6 others. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It was 8 and all. Okay. And why can't all of them listen? They don't want to listen to the same ones, listen to the front ones, and come up with your own conclusions. But when you get something from somebody, you don't know what context it was taken, and you want to, I don't know, what do you do? What do you go and do? Talk about it on the radio? Send it information? What you could do about it? So I think that particular council is invalid because here and all say they don't monitor. And that is what they're supposed to be doing. The first thing is I'm monitoring whatever that is, council. I don't think it's ethical because I don't think it have any ethics in what it's doing. Because the people who send anything, unethical themselves. So I don't know what ethics mean anymore for some people, but I know what it means for me. Anyway, you all have a nice day. Thank you.
Thanks. Interesting enough, he said that the council was supposed to meet yesterday, Wednesday. They meet on Wednesday. Is that not what he said? And but I guess a release should be coming out today because they were also investigating some other complaints that they got on both sides of the major political divide. So he doesn't have a camera on, but I don't know if Fuad is there. Good morning, Fuad.
Oh, well, I selected a call here, so let's grab this call. Good morning, Fuad. Hold on 1 second, just grab this call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
Open forum, right?
Yes.
I am a little concerned with this gun thing and how they're talking about it to give people guns. So why I'm telling you, I and all want to get a firearm. But the way them talking about issuing guns, it's looking like they want to make this a Western. And say when you make a term, give law-abiding citizens firearms. I mean, yes, you have to vet this thing, but the way they're talking about it, you can't just say by that vetting who is law-abiding citizens, really, you know. It's a process you will have to go through, but the way they're talking about issue firearms and in the way they're talking about shoot them and empty the clip. I mean, what kind of statement is that? By what is going to happen is that if I fall out with my neighbor, or because remember you're putting guns, blah in people's hands, and if I fall out with my neighbor, somebody gave it. Right now, people taking up a cutlass and running at people. They're doing all kind of other than bandits. You're having domestic disagreements and all kind of things. People fall down before the land and all kind of things. A man fall out there with a Maryland and see man, how the lad could shoot him. Right now, in certain parts of the world, trying to get rid of this issue.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing a video where some children, some young people were looking for a friend in a country with the same Sunday bro, but they swung in a wrong yard. And when they swung in the yard, the owner saw them, but then they realized no, they're going in the wrong place.
All right.
They're reversing the car, people coming out. The man shoot and they can't kill one of them in the car, you know.
But I don't think the intention of the FUL from the statement is about that. It's about defending yourself if you feel threatened from home invasions specifically. So, but I understand what you're saying, that people may abuse the firearms if they don't and not vet it properly. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, caller.
That is the issue.
All right. Thank you. All right. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
Trinidad and Tobago, all those who are logged on.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, our mobile app and our website, they're back up. So you can send a message. You want to listen to us on our app and website. We're back up.
Let's pose the two questions to you. What is your response to the now considered controversial statements of Mrs. Basabi-Sessa? Light them up, empty the clip, and reload. What is your response to that?
It has been making quite a rounds on social media. Of course, a lot of younger people who use those platforms and are accustomed to some of the terminology that she would have used are interested by it. I don't think anybody in their right mind is taking it literally per se. I think it is sensationalizing an issue that is burning in Trinidad and Tobago, and that is one of crime and security. And some people will have their views. I hope their views are based on
you don't think
factuality.
You're saying light them up, reload, and empty the clip is to be taken seriously?
So I listened to the entire clip, the word we're using again, and she's trying to use language that probably Maximilian gave her to use, but I am not. I understand the sensationalism of politics. I understand that she's trying to drive home a point in a very sensitive society about crime, where people feel strongly that they need to protect themselves. But I mean, you can infer as well, maybe she should be a little more responsible with her language for sure, because you don't want circumstances and situations where individuals use excessive force and kill and seriously harm other citizens, even if they are attempting to come into your home, or you perceive that they are attempting to come into your home. I've been reading this article about the particular lady who shot, they say once. The facts are very difficult sometimes to get her, because we are dependent upon the media and the police, and sometimes the police feed the media as well. But I read some of the facts that have been given to us, but I'm also, reading some of the other stuff, some of the suggestions of the father, etc. And you really want to understand the circumstances. I would like gun owners and future gun owners who are vetted and are responsible citizens to try the best to secure human life. Not only your own. You cannot be a coward carrying a gun. You cannot just shoot first and ask questions later. But it is a very, very tricky situation.
Would you be an advocate of more people getting FULs?
If someone, goes through the proper process of vetting and is trained continuously, then I'm not negative towards thinking about, giving individuals that right to protect themselves, especially in the context that we have now, where it really appears as though the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service cannot, along with the other agencies, get a grip on crime, illegal guns, violence in Trinidad and Tobago. You have to look at things. But I'm hoping that we do have changes in administration, progressive changes, and when brilliant young people like myself enter the responsibilities, that we have serious police reform, that we bring real changes to the education system, that we have serious interventions in our communities to bring about peace and security, where people will be less inclined to want to have a firearm to protect themselves. That is where we need to head. But I do understand the extremity of the situation at this point in time, and why law-abiding citizens would want the ability to protect themselves against people who are armed.
Yeah. But let's get into the politics of it, though, because you have now a representative of the PDP. Is it that you're... Let me
make sure you could see the...
I saw the jersey from the time you came on. So...
and it is so trained in our minds that I looked and I saw two blue, but I could hardly see Steve,
I not in no color.
This is just a t-shirt. It is representing no political entity. It's just a t-shirt.
This is just colors.
It's just a t-shirt.
Politicians get so what should I say? They have
so different colors.
They think once you are wearing a color, you are support.
No.
You'll take the bait, boy. You'll take the bait. That is where I want to go. I am not caught up in color, guys. I am really not even caught up too much in that fanatical emblem and whatever. When I spoke to Mr. Watson, you can we were considering working together in this local government election. Maybe to him it was more important to keep the flambeau. Is that flambeau, right? It wasn't that important at this point in time to me to have a crown on my jersey instead of a flambeau. So I had a few green ones that were not printed. I just sent it by my partner in long circular. He put on the flambeau and the whatever, and I remained the same. And I expressed extremely clearly to Mr. Watson Duke that I have a new national vision. I have a new vision for Trinidad and Tobago. And that is one that is not worn on a jersey or changes day and night. It is one that exists within me and within my mind. It is a philosophy that I live by, not just campaign by or speak. It's something that I live by. And I spelled that out to him, and he corresponded by speaking to me about people before politics and like-minded, ideology. And we have embarked upon this very, very necessary effort, particularly for me in the district of Port of Spain, where I've been working, the city of Port of Spain, to bring change. I really did not want to miss this opportunity to harness the sentiment, the pain of the people, and convert that into some real political change for them. And that is why I am here now.
Is it that you felt that being aligned with, because you say that caught up in the politics of it, but you're wearing a PDP T-shirt, and you've had your own political party for a while and contesting elections. So what's the advantage of having a PDP T-shirt at this point? Why not just go with your own party?
So it's more than the T-shirt. It is the ability to work with a larger team within the Port of Spain district that really interested me. And it is not just myself. There are 7 other excellent candidates, young individuals who I'm quite getting closer with, but some who I would have known before, who would have worked with me before as well, who have come together to make this effort. I really don't believe in this egocentric one savior idea that is bandied about and purported. I appeal to leaders across Trinidad and Tobago to understand the importance of us all working together for the benefit of Trinidad and Tobago, not just the spoils of winning an election. To me, that is short-sighted, ignorant, egotistical, and backward for the progress of Trinidad and Tobago. So, that's one of some of the things that would have really stood out to me in working together with a bigger team. I have worked on my own before. It is also extremely difficult. We still have not had campaign finance reform, which I feel is one of the most important reforms that we need, which will give younger, smaller parties, individuals who have a good heart, the financial ability to stand and go forward politically and have the resources to really have a fair chance. At the moment, you have some big players in the game who have state resources that they are utilizing illegally, who have convinced a lot of people within the electorate that your job and what you have is because of us, and if you don't continue to vote for us, you will lose it. In my mind, that is disingenuous, corrupt, and wicked. But those are the tools that they have at their disposal. They have, as I said, funding that they use from our money, Trinidad and Tobago, in local government and general government, the PNM particularly, and they use those funds. You know, they put on football tournament, they put on King, they put on Best Village, all coincidentally around this time. They all sorts of stuff they do, and they tell you, nah, it's not because well, you know, they tell the media, maybe they'll tell you all that this is nothing. This is just us doing whatever.
The road just happened to be paved now.
Yeah. but really and truly, we all understand what it is. And I want us.
What is the PDP? What is the PDP offering in the areas that you're contesting? Because of course you're contesting Belmont North and West. You have been, as you said, and rightly so, working on the ground in the particularly urban centers for a number of years. What are young people in particular telling you about their involvement in this local government election? Because there's been an apathy in local government election voter turnout, and do you think that because of the size of this local campaign, it's not a normal local government election, as you can see. The major parties, it is high stakes for both of them, for both the PNM and the UNC. But there's also an interesting development in this local government election where, to me, there is a larger number of smaller parties and or individuals and independent candidates contesting for some reason in this particular election. Why do you think that is, one? And what are people telling you on the ground when you walk around?
Yeah, so the first thing that most young people speak to you about is jobs, you know, and the availability of employment. So, you know, that is difficult to deal with from a local government level, but we have conceptualized some policies, some local government that could assist in creating job opportunities, particularly for the young. I mean, it even goes beyond to the middle-aged and the old as well, who find that whatever they've put aside or whatever they have coming in pension is not sufficient for the ever-increasing cost of living. So that is the main issue that they've put forward, with the very serious issue of crime, the very serious issue of the, you know, degradation of their constituency and their district in terms of infrastructure. You know, there's a litany of issues that they have raised, but those are the ones that top the list. People have seen their standard of living diminish tremendously over the past 8 years. And they do attribute that to the current administration. What they are looking for at this point in time is a way out. And that is why, you know, even despite my personal position, you know, my growing family, I have suffered tremendously as a young businessman as well, in the harsh economic climate and from ever-increasing cost of living, etc. Those are also reasons why it is extremely important at this point in time to work to bring an option of change. So, like you said, there are a lot of people who are offering themselves as well. Fortunately for me, in the district of Belmont North and West, there's red and yellow and there's me. So there's only one option. And I have been saying that to the residents of the district of Belmont North and West, and it has been received quite well. I have only been turned away by a few elders, you know, just a few, and that is expected. I actually expected maybe more, you know, so that is heartwarming. Last night while I was walking at 8:30 p.m., I saw a young man in a vehicle and I was speaking to him. And when I asked him his name afterwards to put him on my confirmed voter list, he gave me his name, and his name was synonymous with the PNM. His father is a popular individual and a stalwart. So I paused for a while because I'm now about to put him on my confirmed voter list. And he said, yeah, that's my father. Look him there upstairs now. But don't worry, he voting one way, we voting a different way. And that is heartening for me. When we as young people can see through the nonsense, for lack of a better word, the sycophant ideology, and really reach out to something different and something new to bring change. That really encourages me into the future. It is just a matter of organizing the youth and getting them out to vote. And like I said, that's the youth, but there are a plethora of older people who are conscious. Miss Clark, who said to me yesterday, listen, I's a rebel since I born, I fed up with them long time. And others who have changed their minds. And that is what we have to have in Trinidad and Tobago. If something is not working politically for us, then seek better ground. Let us create the conditions politically where we will get service. Don't hold on to an emblem or a color. I mean, that is childish, in my opinion. It is ignorant. And for us to move Trinidad and Tobago to a better place, we as human beings, we as Trinbagonians, we need to move to a better place. We need to get this going. So I'm heartened. I'm heartened by the efforts thus far.
I know you would have aligned yourself with the PDP, and you said well, you felt there was some alignment in terms of speaking to Watson Duke, and I'm curious as to why you didn't look. Did you even consider the UNC? Because the UNC made a clarion call that they were willing to align with anybody, and of course the NTA took it up. Do you see the UNC as an option, or you don't see them as an option? And if you don't, why don't you?
So the conditions in Trinidad and Tobago and the leadership that we have at this point in time, in my opinion, has been so bad that even somewhere in my thinking, I have considered the UNC just for what a lot of people are advocating, moving this heavy weight that is bearing down on Trinidad and Tobago, which at the moment is this uncaring, heartless administration, this top-heavy, controlled by the 1%, oblivious to the plight of the average man, PNM. Conditions are so bad that imagine I could consider, the UNC. I think an immediate turnoff as well was the amalgamation with the NTA. While I do see some good people in the NTA, Mr. Gary Griffith is a definite turnoff for me. Just based on his track record. I know that people feel as though the show that he puts on, the Smoke and Mirrors, is convincing and he can bring some alleviation to crime. I don't subscribe to that. But he would have been a turnoff for the UNC as well. Doing something on my own, and when I say on my own, it cannot be on my own, but with young, fresh people who are not entrenched in this backward type of politics, who have not served before, who are new and willing to bring about some real reform and change, is the ideal way.
But that's interesting, because Watson has had his share of problems and his quite public controversial issues in the past, starting with the PSA, going to the PDP, followed with Fali Augustine and Tobago, inclusive of the Keezel Jackson scandal and all of that. So how do you reconcile saying, well, on one hand, you reject the PNM and the UNC, but Watson Duke has also had his share of public issues?
Yeah, for sure. That is all. You sure I don't have any more?
Did I say something that wasn't in the public domain?
No, I say I wonder if it have any more. They might.
Well, no. I mean, you're saying it like if it's to be dismissed.
No, I'm not saying
exactly. Is it an invalid question? An unfair question? Exactly.
I'm just making sure.
I don't think we should hold it. I'm sure you got the point.
I'm stating the point to state that we are in public life, and he has had his many flaws, and I pray, and when I spoke to him very clearly, we discussed some of these issues as well, because they are pertinent to the electorate of Trinidad and Tobago. And I pray that he is able to overcome those issues. I pray that he is able to show more discipline, in his personal life, which crosses and transcends into his public life. He has been able to do positive things as well as a union leader. And I pray for him and I encourage him. And my guidance as a right-thinking, probably the best heart there is in politics, alongside Mr. Duke, hopefully it will bring forth a better individual and a stronger leader who can overcome his flaws, because we are all human beings and none of us are perfect. But for sure, we need to look at leaders. We need to encourage them to be better. We will have our ups and our downs. I pray that we learn from it. I pray that even the current leader, because he's going to continue on as Prime Minister for some time, I pray that he can change his ways immediately and become better. But it is more than about Watson. And I think people should understand that. It is about bringing change for Trinidad and Tobago. And sometimes the catalyst for that are people who are not perfect, because we are human beings. So we go forward in this local government election. You are voting for councillors of your district. They will represent you. Pay close attention to those individuals and ensure that they are the type of individuals who can carry Trinidad and Tobago forward.
Has the Baka name helped you or hurt you in this campaign?
That's a tricky one, because Trinbagonians could be deceitful at times. Fuad Abubakar is distinct, I wouldn't say as a brand, but as a human being. I interact with the residents of Belmont, North and West, and even beyond that, in my everyday life. I am a down-to-earth individual. I ask people to really decipher and look at an individual, not just based on the name, even not sometimes based on what they say. Actions speak louder than words. Feel people. Open your third eye or whatever else. Pray. Try to discern what this human being stands for. Try to discern what they are about, what drives them, what motivates them, and based on that, judge an individual. Not based on class, color. They are the type of men who could speak so beautifully about things, but they are the most contemptible of wretches, you know. And I mean, I'm not short of the gift of gab, but look beyond even that, you know. It has been nothing but love. As I said, maybe one or two individuals just didn't even want to hear me or consider me because I'm not PNM. Even some of the people who have had whatever inhibitions, Trinbagonians are usually people of love. They will still hear you out. And I hope that, you know, from interacting with me, they are able to change their minds if they had misconceptions about me.
Is there a particular plan? Let's just say Fuad Abubakar is victorious in Belmont North and West. It is still going to be a PNM-run government, at least for the next 2 years until the general election.
Central government.
It is going to be, in my opinion, a mixed council of some kind. If other parties make inroads, because right now it's 7-7, and it's not going to be an easy road because you win a district. So what's the strategy in providing services? Because this is what it comes down to for people in representation. People want services provided. They want people to hear them, and they want some tangible results in districts.
Yeah. So as a council, and it will be a mixed council in Port of Spain, hopefully, we would have to sit down and work together. You know, my skills and my ability to persuade and convince the other members of council, if they belong to a different party, to choose the right course for what is beneficial to the city of Port of Spain beyond politics would be tested. But that is the role of councillors when they sit in council. I would also try to bring the voices of the people of Port of Spain into the fore, because their voices should be heard. It should not be the political party directing the councillor to do something that is not what the people of the district want. Fuad Abubakar is not owned by the PDP or the NNV. Fuad Abubakar, as an elected councillor, is owned by the people of that district. And that is what we need to understand. You know, as I said to the PNM councillor, you may not be the problem, you know, but your party is definitely the problem. And that top-heavy approach that they take, where you are owned by them, is counterproductive to the understanding of representation that needs to take place in this district. So in those ways, I will work towards achieving what the people of Belmont, North and West, and Greater Port of Spain want. And it will be maybe a challenging time. Maybe it won't. Maybe I will meet young people who are, you know, like-minded and inclined, regardless of the color T-shirt that they had on. And that is what I love with younger people in politics as well. They are not as hung up and stuck in this colonial, in my opinion, way of thinking, where the boss and the whatever, and we have to follow and toe this line. You know, I hope that we can bring substantial change and real representation to the people of Port of Spain and deliver for them. If it takes the mobilization of the people of the area to demand more for local government, then I will encourage them to do that. You know,
we may have a history. We have a history of coalescing parties being successful at the polls. You've had it. You had it under Art and NAR. You had it under the People's Partnership, even at local government level. But oftentimes these coalitions don't hold because I suppose it's seen as opportunistic rather than a real alignment of values that coalesces along certain fundamental ideas that can stick.
Correct.
What makes this alliance between you and PDP any different? Isn't it just opportunistic? Some people will see it as just purely being opportunistic. Why shouldn't they see it that way?
And listen, I'm speaking to intelligent people, and I hope we can enlighten the listeners as well. There is the very important cross-section of seizing an opportunity and being able to, in the current circumstances, achieve what is necessary. And part of our alignment is that opportunity. It is the opportunity to come together in a greater group to remove a problem within our society and to bring about proper change. I hope and I pray that I am strong enough and influential enough within the party and the other voices, the consciousness even in the man and the individual is strong enough in all of us who have come together to direct us to that philosophy of people before politics, of bringing a new vision for Trinidad and Tobago. And I will say to you very squarely, as I have said to the residents that I've spoken to, if I turn out to be a bad councillor, vote my tail out one time, right? They should keep it to 3 years. Vote my tail out. And further than that, I've also said clearly to the public as well, that if we as a council cannot deliver, then judge us based on our efforts and see what is the stumbling block that is stopping us from delivering, and deal with us appropriately as your representatives as well. But I'm telling you, as someone who believes in a new national vision and who speaks to my other councillors, would-be councillors, I am convinced that we believe in bringing change. I hope that we can keep it together and we can push towards that change. And if we can't, then the electoral process is clear and you should seek better alternatives. Don't ever get stuck with someone who is not delivering for you. So it's quite simple to me, and I'm glad that you could express that. The bigger parties have their absolute challenges. You say that some of them align just for opportunity, and I agree, because their philosophy is null and void. It is absent. I feel as though the PNM and the UNC predominantly is just interested in power. I ask people to be very mindful and careful, even about myself and others. Discern as I come through your district. Speak to me. Take the opportunity to speak to me. Look me in my eyes when you ask the question, and try to figure out if I am genuine or not. If I am only interested in office and power, or if I am genuinely trying to bring some betterment to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Do that. Be that type of voter. Be one that is active and trying to bring some better change to Port of Spain.
I think that's what we're going to have to leave it this morning. I don't know if Paul has another question, because I know time.
I was just going to ask a question as we started. It had to be a quick answer. What do you think is driving all this crime in the country?
Unemployment. We have a culture that is trending towards crime. I mean, not to bash Ms. Bisesa, if she could come and say, you've seen the dub overs with the Trinidad music, you knock it and ting it and whatever, which is very, very popular among the youth. Hopelessness, poor examples in government, in society, the breakdown of society, the breakdown of families, poor policing, no structural reform with our judiciary, no rehabilitation, constant conflicts between individuals that are not being dealt with within the society. we have a plethora of issues that have culminated in extreme violence. We have an angry population. We have young people who feel, just risk it for the biscuit. I think they say anything, who do not have an expectation of or hope for living a decent life. Who say to me sometimes when I ask them, well, how long you think you will live? 25, 28. Who look in their communities and the only person that is successful is someone who is involved in negative, illegal things, who look up to individuals who have money, regardless of their moral standing, how they got it. Once you make it, that's the picture of success. Who look up and say, everybody up there is criminals. So who is we? We have really reached a dark place. It's not over 1 year or 2 years. It's over quite a long period of time. And we need to come out of this dark place. Never will God change the condition of our people until we change what is in ourselves. We have a real job to do with ourselves. Good leadership can definitely help us. Morally sound. I'm not saying perfect, because I don't hold myself out as being perfect, but morally sound individuals who understand themselves, and
well, thank you so much.
Emit that. I get a last word to try to encourage my people to come out.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. I ain't getting much airtime, so I did take
we did call you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I hope the other media houses follow to give other parties and other individuals the opportunity. I really ask the people of Trinidad and Tobago to vote for change. Wherever you see something new and different, send that signal across Trinidad and Tobago. We are fed up. And the language that they understand is votes. Send that message. Come out and vote, young people. Vote for some change. Now is the time. It could do nothing else but improve your condition over the next 2 years until we are able to move these people from general government as well. All right, so thanks again. Blessings to the people across Trinidad and Tobago. Love.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Be safe. Thank you. All the best to you and the family.
Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you very much.
Take care. All right. Gentlemen, this is where you guys going to wrap it up.
Interestingly enough, just before we do, enough, one of
my
my friends
like that so far.
One of my friends in New York had sent me an issue of our I'll forward it to you, Paul. Maybe you could play the video about how Japanese teach their children the issue of courtesy, respect for the society, the whole social contract.
That's their first 2 years of school.
And what they do is they do a lot of exercises. So one of the exercises they have, which there's a video which you could probably play tomorrow, is that one of the children is the bus driver and the others are bus passengers, and different children are coming on board, one pretending she has a child, and one of the people has to get up and give her the seat, and showing you one who maybe have an injury, and they're showing you, inculcating in them at a very young age the issue of responsibility and selflessness within the society in which you live.
They focus in the first 3 years of school, 2-3 years of school, not on content, but on values.
Yeah. So that was interesting. So I'll forward that to you.
Yeah. Maybe have a great day. All be safe.
Yep. And of course, just reminding you the theater is on Saturday and Sunday this weekend. What You're Looking to Miss for continues this weekend at Cipriani College. Saturday at 8:30, Sunday at 6:30. Of course, the box office at Cipriani College opens from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily, and tickets are available all over the place. You can check RSRR Productions Theatre for further details. But if you're in the Chaguanas area now, I know a lot of Chaguanas people come to Cipriani College, or people in Central Trinidad. You can get your tickets at Creme Fresh in Brentwood Mall and Chaguanas, and those of you in Trin-City, Friends of Marabella and Piarco Plaza, Electronics in Arima, Pet Butler in Curep, Charflet Auto Services, and Tony's Florals, Valpark Shopping Plaza, the Rum Box if you're in Western, or in Port of Spain, you can get at the Rum Box in St. James. And, you know, just come out and support theater. Jabili Rawi and Tunapuna, I forgot them. So have a great day, whatever you do, and remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
All right, Rich, have a good one. All the best. Talk to you guys.